गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्त्रमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पद आमोतिभिस्सेदसादनम् ॐ महागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुं गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम केशवाय नमः, ओम नारायणाय नमः, ओम माधवाय नमः, ओम गोविंदाय नमः, ओम विष्णुवे नमः, मत्सूदनाय नमः, त्रिविक्रमाय नमः, वामनाय नमः, श्रीधराय नमः, केशाय नमः, पद्मनाभाय नमः, दामोदराय नमः, संकर्षणाय नमः, वासुदेवाय नमः, प्रद्युम्नाय नमः, निरुद्धाय नमः, पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः, दोक्षाय नमः, नारसिंहाय नमः, अच्युताय नमः, जनार्दनाय नमः, उपेन्द्राय नमः, हरे नमः, श्री कृष्णाय नमः, श्री कृष्णाय नमः, श्री कृष्णाय नमः. We are talking about Dharma. Last year we conducted Gayatri Mahayajna in Bangalore. We have offered facilities for conducting Gayatri Mahayajna there on the Gita Jayanti day, and about 40 people came and attended the Gayatri Mahayajna. We requested the people who are not practicing Gayatri Sadhana, we encourage them to conduct morning and night, before sunset, before sunrise, to do the Gayatri Sandhyavandana procedure and chanting 108 minimum Gayatri Japa morning and night. And we encourage them. And this sort of activities we are doing in our Aravesha Association of Europe, in UK, and also Gupta Charitable Trust in Bangalore. And we sponsored that function. And in the Rajarajeshwari Kanika Parameshwari temple, it was a success because majority of the people who are interested to do, only they arrived and they taken the message. That's wonderful. We hope that Gayatri Sadhana, Gayatri Upasana, and following Gayatri Dharma is going to increase from now onwards, at least in the people who attended the function. In the modern, in the Bangalore, the number of people who attended the function are really thrilled to hear from me that it is useful to encourage the people to do the Gayatri Sadhana and also to conduct Upanayana for the boys in their families. It is also a part of Aravesha Dharma, and they should do this all the time in all over the world. Whether you live in America or England or in India, doesn't matter, or Australia, you can do it wherever you live. Even if you're on holiday in Kedarnath or Badrinath, wherever you are there, you can do it still. Every day, every evening and morning, doing the Sandhyavana is a must and should for all the Dvijas who had the Upanayana. Even in the ISKCON, you can see they are initiating the people in America and in England. For the people who have practiced Krishna devotional aspect of work and meditation for so many years, they initiate and they put sacred thread, and they are going to do that in so many places, and they start doing the Gayatri initiation, and they chant Gayatri Japa, and I'm really amazed. The people who are in the Western society, after joining the ISKCON, they can do even after the grown-up people, 40 years, 50 years, they start initiation at that age, and they will be called as Brahmins because they are chanting Gayatri Sandhyavandana, Gayatri Anushtana they are doing. They are going to call them as Brahmins. And this is what we are noticing in a modern world. ISKCON is doing that. When our own Hindus, Brahmins and Vaishyas, forgotten the tradition, what has been started in the time memorial time. And that's why I am requesting that we should not go behind in our traditions, and we have to keep up our tradition. And that's why we established the temples all over UK, and all the temple priests will support these activities. Only thing is, people want to do follow, they need to approach the nearest Hindu temple and request them to initiate the Gayatri, and also to do Upanayana when you wanted to do it with the help of the priest in the local temples. You can do that. Regarding in the modern times, what is happening? Dharma is been associated with the religion. Hindu Dharma, Muslim Dharma, Buddha Dharma, Jaina Dharma, Christian Dharma, like that. Dharma has been attached to our religion. In Bhagavad Gita also, Vyasa Maharshi starts with the word Dharma. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsava mavaka pandavaschaiva kima kurvata sanjaya. He starts like that. Dharma, the sentence starts with the word Dharma. And Lord Krishna is an embodiment of Dharma. To establish Dharma, only Lord Krishna is, is incarnating in the earth several times, as and when it requires. To establish Dharma, he arrives in the earth and establish Dharma. And the preaching of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavata are all similar. And Dharmo Rakshiti Rakshitaha. When you follow Dharma, Dharma will protect you. If you don't follow Dharma, you lost your protection. This is what happens. Dharma is the protector. Now we are seeing in Gita is becoming universally accepted by many religions in the world. Dharma destroys one who is abandoning Dharma. Dharma also protects and upholds the person who protects Dharma. So if you chant Gayatri, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am Gayatri. Among all mantras, I am Gayatri. So when you do Gayatri Japa and Gayatri Anushtana morning and night, it's a part and parcel of Krishna's prayer as well, because Lord Krishna says, I am in Gayatri. That's very, very important. According to Manusmriti, in chapter 8, verse 15, Dharma protects those who uphold and protect Dharma. In other words, live by the principles of Dharma and you will be protected by Dharma binds the relations also. If you are in the front of your father or mother, you are to follow Putra Dharma. If you are with your wife, you are to Pati Dharma. If wife is called in Hinduism as Dharma Patni, as you all know, Dharma Patni is the one who follows Pativrata Dharma and also wears kumkum in the forehead and wears a silver ring in the second toe of both feet and wears flower in the back of their head and respect the husband in a plural way. Don't call it in singular way and don't address the names. And they respect what wife in Pativrata Dharma gives to husband. And these are the speciality which you can observe in the society of a Hindu lady. And you can see those Western society people, in English people and Christian people joining the ISKCON, they wear sari and put kumkum in the forehead and follow bhajan, Krishna bhajan in the ISKCON. So when we are seeing them, and those ladies who are doctors working in the hospital doing a private doing the consultation clinics also, some of the ladies do wear sari and come with their own tradition. And we have seen very rarely ladies do that. And I think following our tradition is important, and maintain the Pativrata Dharma is important for ladies. She does not call her husbands by name and address in singular way. Dharma is explained in all Puranas, even Bhagavad Purana, Padma Purana, Garuda Purana explains Papa and Punya, what is righteous and what is not righteous, and everything is explained in all these Puranas. I'm giving a summary of the things what I read in Purana for your information. Now, Yudhishthira explains the sage to explain the secret of Vedic Dharma that are not explicit to all and are well hidden like the root of a tree. For there could be none better than in Narada. So Narada teaches is the direct and authentic version of the theory and practice of Dharma as taught by Lord Narayana to Yudhishthira. Dharma includes the universal laws of nature that sustain the universe and its functions with precision as much as the practices and duties that take care of an individual in the society. Suppose even if you consider the modern society where we are driving the car, there is a rules to follow, and you cannot deviate the rules. And if you do deviate the rules, then you will be punished by the law. So if you want to If you do not want to follow the law, you can't drive the car in the road. It is so strict in every Western society, even in India. This strict they are. You have to follow driving on the left side of the road in England and India. And in America, it's right side of the road. So the law slightly changed in Canada, Europe, and America. In the left side, we have to drive, and you cannot drive on the right side in England and India. Like that, there's a rule. You cannot deviate from the rule. So same thing applies to our religion, and our dharma is also a law or a rule. And Manava Dharma or humanity is explained by the there are 10 factors is explained in Dharma of humanity. Number one is dhriti, patience. You shouldn't jump in the conclusion suddenly without thinking what is the right thing to do. You have to have a lot of patience in every circumstances. That is dhriti. Hello, Ravi. ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಅದನ್ನ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ. ಫಾರಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ರಿಟನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ಆ ಸೈನ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ನೀವು ನಾನ್ ಸೈನ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದು ಫಾರಂ ಇದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ 3A ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗ ಇದೆಯಾ ನಿಮ್ ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸೈನ್ ಹಾಕಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ನೀವು 2ನೇ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಆಗಿ? ಜಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹೌದೌದು, ಅದು ಬರೀ ಜಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹೌದು, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಹಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಬಾ. ಬೇಕು ಬೇಕು, ಇರ್ಲಿ, ನೀವು ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಬರೀ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಟಿಕ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಾಳೆ ಬೇಡ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇಡ ಅನ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ, ಎರಡು ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ, ಬಾಯ್ ಬಾಯ್ ಬಾಯ್. Dharma of humanity or Manava Dharma, it has got 10 principles in the Dharma. They are inherent qualities, and everybody should have the practice of all these 10 principles. Number one is dhriti, that is patience. You need to have a lot of patience before answering any questions or anything. You need to understand. You need to, suppose somebody is troubling you, don't jump into conclusion to do anything. With patience, think about it and then take a decision what is right for you. And number two is kshama, forgiveness. Some people is troubling you, you need to excuse them. If it is a trivial thing, you can excuse them. If it's a problem and you need to explain them, that's not right. And then the number third is dhamma, self-control. And number fourth is asteya, non-stealing. So you're not supposed to take things belongs to other people. And the fifth one is shaucha, cleanliness. Kaya vacha manasa. You need to be cleaned. With mind also, we need to clean in the chitta shuddhi. It's called chitta shuddhi. So you need to have a body cleaning, taking a bath, and the chitta shuddha cleaning is by doing the Gayatri chanting. It will be, your mind will be pure. Mind will be pure and you will attain chitta shuddhi. And body pure, kaya vacha manasa. Don't hurt anybody by thinking also. Don't hurt somebody's feelings, or by don't think of ill of others. Don't think of ill of others. That's also a cleanliness of chitta shuddhi and manashuddhi. Indriya nigraha, control your ambitions and organs, sexual organs. You need to control. That's called indriya nigraha. And spiritual knowledge, you need to increase the vidya, the spiritual knowledge. Wherever you are not aware of something, you need to discuss and learn something. And satyam, benevolent of truthfulness. So you need to be truthful. Whatever you say, sometimes truth hurts others. So you need to excuse them, or you need to ask them to excuse if you're hurting them. But the truth should be told. Suppose if there is a mathematics sum in the mathematics classroom, if somebody, then only two people did the correct way and 60 people did wrong way. So you can't say majority is right there. Majority is wrong. The mathematics is so accurate, and you need to correct. Only two people get the credit, and 58 people don't get any credit because all failed the test. So that's called satyam, benevolent truthfulness. You got to face the courage. We don't want a majority decision. Sometimes majority decision will go wrong against dharma. That is adharma. If majority decision, and and if they say we are majority, we'll do whatever we like, and that is not right. If you are doing against dharma, your majority is useless. And a situation like that, which involved dharmic principles, and we need to discuss with the priest, not the majority of the trustees or majority of the AGM. There are certain things which you should not get vote in the respect of dharma. You need to discuss what is right for your society or your temple. You need to discuss with the priest and what is dharma, what is not dharma. We need to understand before taking a decision. Just because the majority goes one way, and if the majority goes wrong way, adharmic way, it is very futile and everything will be unsuccessful. There is dharma called putrika dharma in a family where there is no boys, only girls, two or three girls. They don't have a boy to take care of their wealth and take care of the future of the gotra of that family. In that situation, it's called putrika dharma. So uh, the the father of the girl gives the girl to the boy in the wedding with the condition that the child of the grandchild who is going to born for the daughter, if it is son, the the father of the girl has got a right to take that boy as his own son to keep in his house. So there the grandson, daughter's son, becomes the son for the father of the daughter. In that dharma, it's called putrika dharma. Some people say putriki dharma. Some people say putrika dharma. In Telugu, putrika dharma. In Hindi, it's putriki dharma. Possibly like that. So this is only for those families who don't have a son, who have got only three daughters, two daughters, or only one daughter. They can take the grandson as their own son in that dharma. So they will agree in the marriage itself. Sometime in the Bhagavata, there is an incident in which uh, the one of the king gives this sort of use putrika dharma to take the grandson who is born in the new family as his own son, although he has got a son. That incident has happened. Why he did that? Because he know Lord Vishnu is going to incarnate as his grandson in his daughter's womb. So that's why he decided. Though it's a great achievement to have a Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu as his son. That's why he used that Putrika Dharma principle, and that's a situation. The great sages, thus manifesting their covert anger, immediately decided to see what actually happening. The dharma is sometime they use dharma as a weapon. Suppose if a king is doing all adharmic activities, and the sages and great maharshis in the area, when Vena was the king, he was doing all atrocities and doing against dharma. He is preventing people to do Vishnu Yajna, Narayana Yajna. He was against Narayana. So Maharshis are all doing the Yajna for Narayana, and Vena is trying to prevent that. And not only that, he is doing all other wrong things also. The great sages in that situation, they became angry, and they went and did a tapas on Narayana, seeking the guidance of Narayana. What shall we do? This man is doing all atrocities against Narayana, against Dharma. And they get a message to take action. And they did, you know what they did? They killed the king Vena by Hunkara itself. So all the rishis went together, 6 or 7 rishis came together, they joined together, they Hunkara and killed the king. And the king's mother was very upset. And she didn't allow anybody to take her son's body. She hidden the body in the palace somewhere. And she was worried. She was praying Lord Narayana to do give some dilemma solution. To we need a king to we need a son to take the kingdom. So we she started praying Narayana. And mother is good. That's why she's doing that. And Maharshis also did penance on Narayana. And they decided uh, to do something what you call uh, in a butter you do churning the butter in the milk buttermilk to make a butter separate, like that sort of churning they did on the arm of the Vena king. And first time they got a, a black color man on, then they rishis discarded him. And second time they did, and the boy came. And same thing did in the left hand, left upper arm. They churning the left upper arm of the body of Vena. They got Mahalakshmi came. So that is Prithu Maharaja and Lakshmi Avatara and Narayana Avatara. That's why, because of the prayer of the mother and prayer of the Maharishi also, they got the boon. So Lord Narayana agreed to come as a son to take over the king. Prithu Maharaja is the son of Vena king, and he is the disciple of Narayana. And that sort of story also became, because he is against Dharma, the Maharshis joined together and diminished him. And in the end, that's what happened. With the grace of Narayana, that happened. Thus, without using any weapons, the king Vena was killed by Hunkara. Because of when a king is following Adharma, he was punished. See, Adharma is going to get punished. Later, the uh, the Prithu Maharaja came, and Lakshmi Swarupa girl came, and they got married, and king and queen, they run the kingdom. There are several incidents in Ramayana. Sri Rama maintains his dharma. To start with, Lord Rama promised his teacher Vasishtha that he is going to follow dharma in all his life as Guru Dakshana. And Guru Vasishtha was so happy with his on the Guru Purnima day. Lord Rama married Sita with his guru and parents' permission. He didn't marry without the parents' permission. He waited for Dashratha and Kausalya and everybody to come to Sita's place to proceed with the wedding. With their blessings, with their approval, the only Lord Rama married Sita. He maintained Ekapatni Vrata, dharma in his life. That's also a very big dharma. And is a big model for all the people who want to follow dharma. Lord Rama promised his teacher Vasishtha that he is going to maintain dharma all his life. According to the 4th century Hindu scholar Vatsyayana, explained dharma by contrasting with the adharma. Vatsyayana suggested that dharma is not merely in one's actions, but also in words one speaks or writes, and in thought. Even thinking bad for others is also not good. That's adharma. So adharma of the body is himsa, violence. Steya, stealing, theft is steya. Pratisiddha maithuna. This is called sexual indulgence with someone other than your partner or your wife. This is pratisiddha maithuna. That's against dharma. Dharma of body, dana, charity, paritrana, succor of the distressed, helping the distressed people, and paricharana, rendering service to others. They're all body of dana. And dharma, that is dharma of the body. Adama, form, words one speaks or writes. Mithya, the falsehood. Purusha, caustic talk. Paurusha, Sauchana, calumny, and Asambadha, absurd talking is Asambadha in Sanskrit. Dharma, from words one speaks or writes, is Satya, the truth and the facts. Hitavachana, talking with good intention, is Hitavachana. Priyavachana, gently talking to children and others, youngsters, called Hitavachana, Priyavachana. Swadhyaya, self-study. You have to improve your own knowledge of Dharma and various parts of the religious Papa Punya by self-study. Adharma of mind is paradroha. Ill of anyone is paradroha. Paradro, paradrehi abhipapsa. Covertless. Nastikya, denial of existence of morals and religiosity. Dharma of mind, daya, compassion. Aspraha, disinterestedness. And shraddha, faith in others. There are many incidents in Mahabharata also. Dharma is explained. Mahabharata is an excellent literature of Indian uh, Purana containing the code of life and philosophy of social and ethical relations and several human problems and possible solutions. A story of Dharma. Mahabharata is a story of Dharma. In Mahabharata, we can learn how Dharma and Karma govern our life in future life. Dharma is what is the right thing to do at a given time and a given situation. Dharma is based on wisdom, insight, and human values. Dharma has many meanings and many dimensions as well. Duty, truth, non-violence, ahimsa paramo dharma, we say. Non-violence is Mahatma Gandhi practiced the ahimsa paramo dharma, non-violence. That is dharma. Dharma also tells us dharmo rakshite rakshitaha, which I already told once again, protects the people who follows dharma. If one does not follow dharma, he must reap the consequences. That is karma. You reap what you sow sooner or later. If you do adharma, hurt others, and it will come back to you either sooner or later, the effect of that. It is just like a science. In mathematics, in physics, you say Newton's third law. Action and reaction are equal and opposite. That is actually implied in the religious cycle also. Suppose you hurt somebody in your previous life, you injured somebody and hurt his leg and knee, and you will suffer with arthritis of the knee because of that karma is hitting you now. In this life, you will get bad pain in the knee joints. And you have to suffer the same way as you made other people to suffer in previous life. Now, by talking about summarizing some of the incidents in Mahabharata, and if you collect the characteristics of characters of the Mahabharata, you can see so many dharma and adharma situations you can follow. So first is the characteristic of dharma is Draupadi, we can say. Draupadi's courage and steadfastness and Krishna's strategy to win the war for the richest war are the redeeming features of the tragic war. Draupadi may have been humiliated by the Kauravas, but her courage in controlling all in assembly of makes her role model for all women. Her message is fight all injustice and justice will prevail ultimately. This is her message. When she was dragged to the assembly, she asked Yudhishthira, whom did you lose first, yourself or me? Nobody answered her questions. Even Bhishma also couldn't answer the questions. This is Draupadi's courage and challenge. You can appreciate Draupadi's situation. And the next one is Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira resembles Dharmatma, who considers himself Dharma in his duty. Dharma is his duty. We can see many dimensions of Dharma from different perspectives. Yudhishthira is called Dharmaraja as he is in the most richest of them all. He does not follow Dharma because of any hope of reward may come, but he acts from sense of what is right for the situation, what is right for he has to do. Dharma or what he has to do is a standard of conduct and the society needs standards. He is verily the incarnation of Dharma himself. Actually, he is son of Yamadharma. Vidura is another character in the Mahabharata. The half-brother of Dhritarashtra has another view of Dharma. He believes that an act is a good. If an act is a good, if it promotes good for consequences, and good for the people, he is thinking it is dharma. An act which promotes the good of many persons is better than one which promotes the good of a few. He was against the game of dice as it would create strife and even harm the people. He was against for the dice game. He says to save the family, abandon an individual. To save the village, abandon a family. To save the country, abandon a village. This is the Vidura Niti, it says. In Manusmriti says the root of dharma is the entire Veda Shastra, the tradition and customs of those who know the Vedas, the conduct of virtuous people, and what is satisfactory to oneself. Dharma is also revealed by one's true self when it is devoid of selfishness, greed, and envy. So one should not be selfish, one should not be discrimination against one people to another, and greed and envy, they are all adharma, according to Manusmriti. Duryodhana is another character. Bhishma is another character. Duryodhana envies Pandavas for winning the hand of Draupadi. Later he envies Yudhishthira for getting half the kingdom and building a new capital, Indraprastha. He wants to kill Bhima with poison and throw him to the sea. Jealous of his cousins, the Pandavas, Duryodhana plans to kill all of them by building a palace made of lacquer and invites them to stay there for a while. Purochana, the architect, was employed in the building of Lakshagraha in the forest of Varnavrata. All these activities are an example of adharma. He plans to assert the kingdom of Pandavas with a game of dice, with the cheating. Duryodhana's story is a lesson on futility of envy in a life. Envy diminishes man's life. Duryodhana is an embodiment of envy, while Arjuna is embodiment of dharma. Duryodhana is a weak will, like a Hamlet. Bhishma's silence at the crucial times diminishes his wisdom, sacrifice, and selflessness. Duryodhana did not keep his words to give back their half of the kingdom and after Vanavasa to Pandavas. Now, the biggest character, important character, is Bhishma. The Bhishma renounces his legitimate right to the throne of Hastinapura for the sake of his father's wish to marry Satyavati, the daughter of the chief of fishermen, and fulfill the condition of his father's marriage, kingship to be inherited by Satyavati's children. That condition was there. When Satyavati's children die without producing any children, he refuses to take over ruling of the kingdom because of this condition. He serves the state as an elder statesman. He was bound by his pratigya, or oath. He has taken an oath that he is not going to marry, he is not going to have any children. He is maintaining his brahmacharya. He serves the state as an elder statesman. He was bound by his pratigya. However, his wisdom loses its shine when he does not stop the humiliation of Draupadi in the assembly of Kauravas. He attains sin for that. Men, if they do not follow dharma, they would live like animals, where only law of the jungle prevails, like a bigger fish eating the smaller ones. The next character in the Mahabharata is Arjuna. Arjuna, the best warrior of the time, when confronted with his kith and kin who assembled in the war field of Kurukshetra to fight the Pandavas, he started worrying about killing his own family members, brothers, and relatives in the war. That's called Arjuna Vishada Yoga in Bhagavad Gita. He feels that price of war is too high, as thousands of soldiers and heroes may die in the war. He forgets the trouble endured for 13 years in the forest after defeat in the unfair gambling with Duryodhana. So, in spite of that, so after the Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Krishna teaches him Bhagavad Gita, and he tells Arjuna that he is a Kshatriya and he has to continue war and to get the Dharma established. And another important character is Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna told Arjuna in Kurukshetra is also Dharma Kshetra, a place of Dharma which upholds good social and political order. The place where they are talking is Dharma Kshetra as well. Kurukshetra is a Dharma Kshetra. He tells Arjuna that he is fighting against injustice to maintain Dharma. Krishna teaches Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna Krishna, Krishna tells Arjuna his dharma is to fight as a Kshatriya, the war, and restore dharma. Karma is to reap what you sow. Nishkama karma is deed without expecting any results. Sthita prajna maintains equanimity in both success and failure. These are the small uh, um, uh, summary of incidents. Krishna is a guide for a purposeful life. Dharma is a duty. Immortality of soul and immortality of the body and many others are taught in Bhagavad Gita. Dharma is the keynote of Mahabharata. We can see many aspects of Dharma in the chapter 10 and 11. The author Vedavyasa discusses the ideas of Mahabharata, including the concept of Dharma with reference to the end of Dwapara Yuga and the Kali Yuga. Bhishma explains Rajadharma and how to rule the country, politics, and business in his kingdom and the world where greed and envy rule at the cost of human welfare, peace, and contentment. Lord Krishna asked Dharmaraya, go and seek the advice of Bhishma before the end of his life. At that time, Bhishma gives this advice of Rajadharma. That is in Mahabharata mentioned all these details in Mahabharata. After the war of Mahabharata, this incident happened. Krishna had taken them, all the Pandavas, to Bhishma's place where he was lying on the arrows, a bed of arrows. And then Bhishma explains the politics, country politics, and how to rule the kingdom, and all the details of the political ruling of the country and people ruling the people and business of the kingdom and all these things he has explained. Bhishma explains human welfare, peace, and contentment. One should never do to another what one regards as injurious to himself. This one brief is the law of Dharma. Mahabharata, it is 18th chapter, 113 shloka. The meaning comes like this: one who has in his heart always the well-being of others and is wholly given in acts, thoughts, and in speech to the good of others, he knows what Dharma is. The man who always think of good for others and never had a ill feeling for others, and that is the man who knows Dharma. Dharma, Dharma Bhaka Upakhyana or Yaksha Prasna. So, in an incident happens in Mahabharata, Yudhishthira, the perfect king, answered 33 sets of pressing questions posed by mysterious being Crane, a bird-like. Yaksha came in the form of bird, like Baka, known to be known as Yaksha. And Yaksha Yudhishthira conversation in Mahabharata gives such an amount of Papa Punya, and Mahabharata gives that all. The episode known as Yaksha Prasna in Mahabharata relates to the exchange of questions and answers between Yamadharmaraya, who came in the form of Yaksha, in the guise of Yaksha, who poses nearly 126 difficult questions to Yudhishthira, who gives the most fitting answers. They are examples of righteousness and dharma. The background of this incident is one day during the life in the forest in Vanavasa, Yudhishthira felt very thirsty and there was no water in sight to quench his thirst. Sahadeva, the youngest of the Pandavas, climbed up a tree and spotted a lake at a distance. When he reached the lake to bring water for Yudhishthira, he heard a voice that said, "Beware, don't touch the water before you answer my questions." Without paying to the cautionary, Sahadeva started collecting water from the lake. No sooner he touched the water than he fell unconscious on the bank of the lake. As for the story, he's already dead. Seeing Sahadeva not returning, Nakula was sent to search for him. He too met the same fate as he did his elder brothers. Arjuna and Bhima also followed him, and they also like him, they became unconscious. Finally, Yudhishthira went to the lake, and he was shocked to see all his brothers lying dead. Yaksha revealed to him his terrible form and warned him that he should answer his questions before helping himself to the water in the lake. So Yudhishthira was warned. Yudhishthira gave him appropriate replies to the Yaksha, was pleased. Then Yaksha said that he would bring back to life one of his brothers. Yudhishthira wanted Nakula to be brought back to life. Yaksha asked why he want to ask Nakula. I think it's important. This question and answers is very important. Let us go through the Yaksha's question. Yaksha asked the questions: who makes the sunrise? Who travel with him? Who leads him to set? Where is he firmly anchored? Yudhishthira said, it is Brahman which makes the sunrise. It is Devas, gods, travel with him. Dharma leads him to set. And he is firmly anchored in truth. The Yaksha's question: how does one become a Shrotriya, one well-versed Vedic lore? How does one attain greatness? By what means one gets help? O king, by what means one becomes intelligent? Yudhishthira says, one becomes Shrotriya by the study of Vedas, by attending the Veda college or Vedic course. He achieves greatness by practicing austerities. Austerities could be tapas, or it could be yajna, regular homa, conducting homa. This sort of austerities are bhajan and meditation. All are austerities. He earns strength by patience. So, and he becomes intelligent by serving elderly men, wisdom. Now the Yaksha's next question: what is the divinity of Brahmanas? And what is the dharma of good people which they follow? What is the humanity trait in them? What is the trait in them which is like that of a bad people? Yudhishthira says, Swadhyaya, study of the Vedas, is the divinity of the Brahmins. Austerity, tapasya, is the good trait in them. Their human trait is that they are subject to die. Their trait, like that of the bad people, is speaking ill of others, is always the bad people. Adharma. Yaksha asked another question: what is the divinity of Kshatriyas? And what is the dharma of good people which they follow? What is the human-like trait in them? What trait in them is like that of a bad people? Yudhishthira says, skill in welfare is the divinity of Kshatriyas. Welfare of the people is the responsibility of Kshatriyas. Skillness in the welfare of the divinity of Kshatriyas. Performance of sacrificial rites is their trait, like that of the sages. They are sacrificial rites, or they are the duties. Their human trait is a fear, timidity. Abandoning all these bad habits is a trait. Yaksha said, what is, next question, what is sama in sacrifice? What is aegis in sacrifice? What does the sacrifice invoke? What is that it does not transgress? That's the 9th question. And Yudhishthira says, prana is the sama in the sacrifice, mind is the ejub in it, it's the rik which the sacrifice invokes, and it's also ruk which it does not transgress. Yaksha's question, next question, what is the best thing for the tiller of the soil? What is the best thing for the one who sows? Sowing the seed is sowing. What is the best thing for those who want a stable life? And what is the best thing for those who give birth? Yudhishthira says, rain is the best thing to the tiller, because without rain, he can't do any cultivation. Seed is the best thing to the sower. So we need the seed to sow the plants. Cows are the best for men seeking a stable life. A son is the best thing for the progenitors. Yaksha asked the question, what is that person who enjoys all sense of objects? Intelligent, honored people is accepted by all and breathes like a normal human being, but lives like a person that is dead. Yudhishthira says, one who does not offer nourishment food to those people, these five: the gods, the guest, the servants, and the ancestors, and thyself is a dead person, although alive. So these are the karma, and these are the five things all the people has to do: dharma, dana, nourishing the food to these five people. The gods is called, you are providing sacrifice in the yajna, that is, you are giving to God. The guest, you feed the guest in your house when they come, that's the guest. Dharma of the grasta. The servants, you look after the servants, feed the servants, pay the servants. The ancestors, you do Pitra Shradha. Once they died, you need to do Shraddha. Masika Shradha, first 12 months, and then once a year. And if you want to Gaya, Badri, all these places in Kashi, Varanasi, you have to do special Shraddha when you arrive there. These are the Shraddha for ancestors. And if you don't do all this, you're not normal. So you're like a dead person. You're not there for them. Yaksha asked another question. What is the weightier than the earth? Which weighs the more than the weight of the earth? Which is taller than the sky? What is speedier than the air? What is more abundant than grass? That's the 15th question. Yudhishthira said, mother is the weighter than the earth. He said, Matru Devo Bhava. His mother is considered more weight than the earth, because earth is also Bhumata. So your own mother is also equivalent to Bhumata. Father is taller than the sky. So Pitru is respecting Pitru Devo Bhava. Mind is speedier than the air. What is speedier than the air? Mind is speedier than the air. And worries are more abundant than grass. So all the people are got some sort of worries. Their worries are more abundant than the grass. Now the Yaksha asks the questions now. Which does not close the eyes while sleeping? What does not move after being born? Which has no heart? Which has no heart? What grows by its speed? Yudhishthira said, fish does not close the eyes while sleeping. Egg does not move after being laid. The stone has no heart. The river swells with speed. What grows or what swells by speed? River goes fast and becomes swollen. So river swells with the speed. Now the next question of Yaksha, who is the friend of one way from the home, traveling? Who is the friend at home? Who is the friend when one is sick? Who is the friend when one is dying? Yudhishthira answers these questions. Companion or co-traveler is the friend of a traveler. Wife is the friend of a person at home. Physician is the friend when he is sick. Charity, dana, is the friend of dying. So before dying, you do whatever dana you can do, and that is his answers. Now, Yaksha questions, 21st question, who is the guest for all beings? And what is the ancient Dharma? Which is the nectar, O king? What pervades all the world? Now Yudhishthira said, Agni is the guest of all beings. So without fire, you cannot cook anything in the house, in the kitchen. You ignite the fire and cook the food. So Agni is the guest of all beings. And cow milk and somarasa are nectar. Cow milk is the nectar for the people in the earth. Somarasa is nectar for the people in the heaven. Adherence to truthfulness, the ancient Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is the one. Adherence to the truthfulness is the ancient Dharma. The whole of this world is pervaded by air. He asked the question, what pervades all over the world? The whole of the world is pervaded by air. That's the answer. Yaksha's question, next question, who moves about alone? Who is the reborn again and again? What is the remedy for biting cold? Which is the greatest fields where crop grows? Yudhishthira answers this question. The sun moves on its path alone. There's no sun is moving alone. The moon is born again and again, and after waning out. So he becomes smaller and bigger. Fire is the remedy for biting cold. The earth is the huge highest, earth is the biggest field. Yudhishthira said like that. Now the 24th question of Yaksha, what is the basis of Dharma? What is the basis of fame? What leads a person to heaven? What is the ground of happiness? Yudhishthira answers this question. Generosity is the basis of Dharma. Charity, dana, gifting is the cause of fame. Truthfulness leads to heaven. Good conduct is the foundation of happiness. Good conduct is the foundation of happiness. If the conduct is not good, the happiness is not there in the family. So everybody in the family has to behave properly and to maintain a good conduct of their situation. So good conduct or virtue is the foundation of happiness. The next question of Yaksha is, what is the soul of a man? Who is the God-gifted friend? What is the means of livelihood? What is his ultimate refuge? Now Yudhishthira answering this question now. Son is the soul of a man. Wife is the God-gifted friend. Clouds, rains are the means of livelihood. Charity, dana, gifting is his ultimate refuge. Yaksha asks the next question. What is the best of all goodness? What is the best of all wealth? What is the best of all gains? What is the best of all happiness? Now Yudhishthira answering these questions. Munificence is the best of all goodness. Learning is the best of all wealth. So if you earn money, you can lose it. Somebody can steal it. If you earn knowledge, learning, that's the best wealth. Nobody can steal your knowledge. Health is the best of all gains. So health is important. That's why the UK government has calculated the healthy living duration, healthy living ages of the people by deducting the days of illness of a particular man or a woman. Health is important. Contentment is the best of all happiness. You need to be contented with what we got. We have to be satisfied what we got. The next question is Yaksha says, what is the highest virtue? Which duty always yields fruit? What makes a man immune to sorrows? Yudhishthira answered this question. Kindness is the best virtue. Compliance with the Vedic prescriptions, Sama, Yajurveda, always yields fruit. Compliance of Vedic Shastra gives a good result. The controlled mind cannot be overwhelmed with sorrow. The controlled mind, if it is a sthita prajna, it won't hurt you. Sorrowness will not hurt you. Controlled mind cannot be overwhelmed by sorrow. Treaty with the good persons never wears out. If you make a treaty with the good people, your treaty will never wear out. Next question is, what if abandon makes a man popular? What if abandon makes man invulnerable to grief? What if abandon makes a man wealthy? What if abandon makes a man happy? Now Yudhishthira answered the questions. Absence of pride makes man well liked. Absence of pride, ahankara. Absence of wrath makes a man shielded against grief. Absence of craving makes a man wealthy. Absence of avarice makes man happy. So if you satisfy with the wealth what you got, you will be happy, contented. That's why we need to satisfy with what we got. Lord Narayana has given enough wealth to live happily and comfortably for all the people in the earth. Yaksha, next question. Why are gifts offered Brahmins? Why are gifts offered to Brahmins? Why are gifts offered to actors and dancers? Why are gifts offered to proteges? Why are gifts offered to the kings? Now Yudhishthira is telling answers to these questions. Gifts are offered to Brahmins for the sake of Dharma. Because Brahmins are control of Dharma. Brahmins teach Dharma. What is Dharma? Gifts are offered to actors and dancers to earn fame. Gifts are offered to the proteges to maintain them. Gifts are offered to kings to secure protection. These are the answers of the Yudhishthira. The Yaksha asks the next question. What overshadows the spear? Why do men remain obscure? Why do men shun friends? Why do men fail to be in heaven? Why do men fail to be in heaven? Yudhishthira answered these questions now. Ignorance covers the sphere of the minds of the man. The ignorance is the overshadows the sphere. Tamas guna hinders a man's blooming full. Greediness goads a man to shrink friends. One who is greedy, he got less friends. Evil company frustrates a man's prospect to be in heaven. Evil company frustrates a man's prospect to be in heaven. That is Yudhishthira's answers. Now the next question of Yaksha, why does a man live as if he is dead? When is a kingdom called as being dead? When are the lost rites considered dead, incomplete? Why is the sacrificial rite considered dead, even after its formal completion? Now the Yudhishthira says, a poor man lives like a dead person. Anarchy spoils the kingdom, thus the kingdom is called dead when anarchy prevails. The lost rites are considered dead in the absence of the priest. A sacrificial rite is called dead if gifts are not offered to Brahmins who presided the sacrifice and take away water. Yudhishthira said, the way directed by the sages is the right path. Maharshis and sages are going to tell the direction of a right path for the people. The sky is the source of water. The cow is the source of food. Seeking favor by a man of honor from another person is abominable like a poison. The time of the lost rites comes from Brahmins, when Brahmins consenting to have meals are available. What is your opinion, O Yaksha? So the next question of Yaksha is, what is the sign of asceticism? What is considered true restraint? What constitutes forgiveness? What is shameful? Yudhishthira said, answers to these questions, single-minded devotion to one's own religion is the mark of asceticism. Restraint of mind is considered a true restraint. Forgiveness consists in the endurance of enmity. Withdrawal from laudable acts is disgraceful. Withdrawal from laudable acts is disgraceful. You need to appreciate somebody for their achievement, and if you don't appreciate, then it is not acceptable. Yaksha, the next question is, O king, what is said to be knowledge? What is said to be control of the senses? What is said to be mercy? What is said to be forbearance? Yudhishthira answered this question. Awareness of Brahman is knowledge. The tranquility of mind is the sign of control of senses. Mercy consists in wishing happiness to all. Forbearance means equanimity of mind. That's the one who has got Sthita Prajnasya. In Bhagavad Gita says, Sthita Prajnasya, he's got equanimity of mind. The next question of Yaksha is, which enemy is invincible? Which disease is incurable? Which men are honest? Which men are dishonest? Now, Yudhishthira is answering the questions now. Anger is the most invincible enemy. So anger itself is an enemy. Covetousness is an incurable disease. A richest man desires the well-being of all. Richest man is the one who desires the well-being of all. He doesn't any ill feeling to anybody. An unfair man is one who is not merciful. Man is unfair if he is not merciful. Now the next question of Yaksha is, O king, what is ignorance? What is pride? What is considered as idleness? What is said to be grief? Now Yudhishthira answers these questions. Ignorance means lack of awareness of obligatory duties. That is ignorance. Ignorance, O king, what is ignorance? Ignorance means lack of awareness of obligatory duties. Pride means that one is the doer of actions. What is pride? Pride means that one is the doer of actions. Ostension from performance of one's duties is idleness. Lack of knowledge leads to the grief. So you need to increase your knowledge all the time, all the time. The next question of Yaksha is, what has been called steadiness by the sages? What has been called patience? What is the real ablution? What is the charity? Now, Yudhishthira answers this question now. Steadiness is reflected in the adherence to one's own religion. That is called steadfast. You stick to your religion and caste, you will be steadiness. Patience consists of consistent control of the senses is the answer to the second question. Ablution means cleaning the mind of all impurities. Charity consists in safeguarding all creatures. That's the charity. Charity consists in safeguarding all creatures. Yaksha's next question is, who is a learned man? Who is called an atheist? And who is a stupid person? What is called desire? What is envy? So Yudhishthira answers this question. A man who is well aware of his duties is called a learned man. Man becomes a learned man when he is aware of all his duties. A stupid person, a man of no knowledge of truth, is an atheist. Attachment to material objects is desire. Envy is the product of burning heat. Now, the next question of Yaksha is, what is conceit? What is hypocrisy? What is the grace of God? And what is the wickedness? Now, Yudhishthira answers these questions now. Lack of knowledge in enormity gives birth to pride. Setting up a religious standard is hypocrisy. Grace of God is the fruit of our offerings to Him. Grace of God is the fruit of our offerings to Him. You do yajna, yaga, and sacrifices, and you get a God's grace. That's grace of God is the fruit of our offerings to God. Wickedness consists in denigration of other persons. So that's wickedness, to condemn other people unnecessarily. Yaksha's next question is, righteousness, wealth, and desire are opposed to one another. Then how can these ever incongruous elements exist together? Righteousness, wealth, and desire are opposed to one another. Then how can these ever incongruous elements exist together? Yudhishthira says, as a virtuous man lives being associated with his wife affably, righteousness, wealth, and desire exist together in full agreement between husband and wife. The next question of Yaksha is, O Bharata, who is condemned to everlasting hell? Tell me promptly. Yudhishthira said, a person who invites Brahmin to offer gifts but thereafter tells him that he has nothing to offer is condemned to everlasting hell. A person who vilifies the Vedas, the religious scriptures, the Brahmins, the gods, and ancestral rites is destined to be in perpetual hell. A person, despite being rich, neither does not offer any gifts, nor does he enjoy himself owing to acquisitive habit, saying that he has no riches, goes to endless hell. So these are the important things to learn in our life. This is the question and answer of Yaksha, and that gives what is Papa and what is Punya. Papa is something which is not right. Punya is right thing what you should do. The same thing is Dharma and Adharma. Now the next question of Yaksha is, O king, what makes a man Brahmin? Birth, occupation, study, or learning? Tell me with conviction, he said. Yudhishthira said, O Yaksha, not birth, nor study, nor learning is the cause of Brahmanhood. Doubtlessly, it is determined by his conduct. So the Brahmin, Yudhishthira says to Yaksha, the Brahmin is not by birth. Brahmin is by conducting himself. A man's conduct should always be well guarded, especially by a Brahmin. He who maintains this conduct flawlessly as a man of stainless demeanor. Teachers and pupils, in fact, all who study the scriptures, if addicted to wicked habits, are to be regarded as illiterate, wretches. Learned is the man who performs religious duties. Even a person of unfair conduct who has studied the 4 Vedas is regarded as a wicked person if he doesn't conduct himself. He is no better than Shudra. A Brahmin is one who performs Agnihotra, sacrifice, yajna, yaga, and Gayatri sadhana, and has senses under control. These are the things we need to have all the time. Yaksha's next question is, what does a person who speaks agreeably gain? What does a prudent man gain? What does a man who has many friends gain? What does a man who has many friends gain? What does a virtuous man gain? Yudhishthira answers this question. A person who speaks agreeably is loved by all. A prudent man gains much more by his action. A man with many friends lives happily because he respects everybody. A virtuous man attains happiness, state in the next world. A virtuous man attains happiness, state of happiness in the next world also after the death. Now the next question is, Yaksha, what is the truth? What is the surprise? What is the right path? What is the truly happy? Answer these questions and then drink. Yaksha says. Now Dharmaraya is going to answer these questions now. O amphibious creature, his Bakapakshi came as a bird. Happy is the man who lives on the vegetables cooked in his own house in the fifth or the sixth part of the day, who owes no debt to anybody and who does not live in a foreign land. Oh, amphibious, happy is the man who lives on the vegetables cooked in his own house in the fifth or the sixth part of the day, owes no debt to anybody, and who does not live in a foreign land. Day after day, countless creatures are going to be aboard of Yama. Yet those that remain behind believe themselves to be immortal. What can be more surprising than this? You go to a funeral of a person, of your friend or somebody who died, and you think you're immortal. You're also one day you're going to die. And that's surprise. What is a surprise? Yudhishthira is telling that's a surprise. Argument leads to no certain conclusion that fruits are different from one another. There is not even one sage whose opinion is accepted by all. The truth about religion and duty is hid in caves. Therefore, that alone is the path along which the great have walked. That is the answer of the questions by Yudhishthira. The world overshadowed with ignorance is like a cauldron. The sun is fire. The days and nights are fuel. The seasons constitute the wooden ladle. Time is the cook boiling all creatures in the cauldron. In these aids, this is the vrata, the truth. Yaksha's question, next question. O repressor of foes, you have answered all my questions satisfactorily. Now tell me, who is an ideal man and who owns all kinds of question? The fame of a virtuous man spreads over heaven and earth. If a man is famous, his fame spreads both heaven and earth. As long as the fame lasts, he is worthy man. A person who rates both the pleasant and unpleasant, joy and sorrow, the past and the future as equal is immensely rich. A person who rates both pleasant and unpleasant, joy and sorrow, the past and the future as equal is immensely rich. Yaksha's question, next question. O king, you have correctly explained who is an ideal man and who is also rich. Now let one of our brothers, in accordance with your choice, get back life. Yudhishthira said, O Yaksha, let Nakula, whose complexion is dark, whose eyes are red, who is tall person, like a tree, who is broad-chested and mighty armed, get up alive. So all the brothers, 4 brothers are died, and Yudhishthira is asking only Nakula, who is the stepbrother, who is son of Madri. Yaksha asked, Bhimasena is dear to you, and Arjuna also is one upon whom you all have depend. Why then, O king, do you wish a stepbrother like Nakula to get back his life? Why do you wish Nakula to be alive in preference to Bhima and Arjuna? Bhima who is mightier than 10,000 elephants. People said that Bhimasena was dear to you. What is the purpose then of getting your stepbrother Nakula alive? Nakula to be alive, renouncing Arjuna, whose muscle is admired by all Pandavas, And Yudhishthira says like this: virtue, dharma, if defined, ruins a man, while if he is abided by it, protects a man. I therefore am not willing to forsake dharma, as I do not want to be destroyed by it being spoiled by me. So is he, or the Yudhishthira thinks it's adharma to ask his own brothers than Nakula, because Nakula is his auntie's mother, Madri's son. O king, O king of Bharata, since you value kindness above wealth and pleasure, let all your brother be alive. Though, um, so Yaksha says, all the brothers be alive because you answered so nicely. So he's telling, I do not discriminate between Kunti and Madri. Kunti is his mother, Madri is his auntie. To me, they are equal. So one should have one son. That's why he asked Nakula, he says. So Yaksha answers, O king of Bharata, since you value kindness above wealth and pleasure, let all your brothers be alive. Here ends the Yaksha Prasna. I think there are no 126 or something like that. I gone through about 113. I think there is some more. 13 is missing, and I will end this for this today's. I will part next time. ओम नमोस्तु अनंताय सहस्रमूर्तये सहस्रपादाक्षरभा सहस्रनाम्ने पुरुषाश्रुते सहस्रकोटियुगधारिणे नमः सहस्रकोटियुगधारिणे नमः आकाशात् परितं यथा गत्सागरं सर्वदेव नमस्कारः श्रीकेशवं प्रगत्यो नमः सर्ववेदेशत्पुण्यं सर्वतीर्थेषु यत्फलं तत्फलं पुण्यमाप्ति वासनात् वासुदेवस्य वासन्ते जगत्रयं सर्वभूतनिवासोऽसि वासुदेवमूर्ते कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि नारायणायेति समर्पयामि नारायणायेति समर्पयामि हरि ओम।